lose track here. That's the next. Well, we're going to need a lot of data space in order to include all this. And here he is on Univision Friday. That is Biden and Dr. Jill, of course, by his side. Cut to go.
Mr. President, in the 5 weeks you've been in office, you have been taking many actions to revert Trump administration's anti-immigration policy. But today, the Washington Post said your administration has plans to
58. $58.7. Change it to a 3. It was a 7 when I first checked it. I had to reverse these. Put red to common. So that's the orange wire. Must be a capacitor charging. This is yellow. Yellow. 60.5. Look at the difference in that. 54.9. That changed. The thinking behind immigration from day one was that people come into a country in an orderly fashion, that our government, representing the citizens of the United States, 55.8. That's not what's happening here. We don't know if somebody is COVID, we don't know if they're terrorists, we don't know who's bringing these kids in, these kids are coming on their own, we don't know anything. And now we're trying to find the parents and bring them into the United States, and then what happens after that? The parents are here, the kids are here, story over. No, the story's not over. You're going to have one generation after another of DACA. Well, these kids didn't come here and have their decision, no fault of their own. Legalization. Then what? Chain migration. Literally based on one person here, can then follow that kid into the country. This decimates this society, absolutely decimates it, and I'll tell you why. Even under the best of conditions, where you have assimilation, we don't have that anymore. We have critical race theory. We have claims of white privilege. We have attacks on our own society from American citizens. And when people come into this country and they see that, not all, but too many, they join in the fun. Attacking their own students here. Look at Omar. Perfect example. Look at Tali.
The last one was gray.
And her parents coming here. So we don't have assimilation, we have disassimilation. They've created a very sick culture. We're bringing more and more people into a very, very sick culture. And rather than people coming into this
64-3.
system, you can see the balkanization, the tribalization that's going on with these various theories, critical this theory and critical that theory. You can see how it is supported in our school systems, in our colleges and universities, in our government, by the Democrat Party, in the media, in sports.
I had to reverse the leads because these are negative. The three on the right, gray, yellow, orange, are positive, and the gray and blue are negatives.
But you can see how a society destroys itself. If we have no respect for ourselves and people aren't taught to have respect for us, to cherish our founding documents and the people who created them, to cherish the people who came before and created this society, whatever they are. Well, what do you expect people to do when they come into the country illegally? They're treated like first-class citizens, where citizens are treated like second-class citizens. And then the rule, not the exception, but the rule is to trash your own country. That's what people are learning when they come into this country. But that's the goal, isn't it? Obama let the cat out of the bag with fundamental transformation. That's the goal, isn't it?
It's got a
As I've said over and over again, it's not being repeated.
funny segment there.
It's not being repeated all over the place, and that's okay.
61-7.
It's about power, not just power. It's about empowering the Democrat Party. Remember, I've said it over and over and over again. We exist, the country exists, with empowering the Democrat.
Here's the transistors I got.
That's why they crash us out. We're not legitimate. Our comments aren't legitimate. We don't see the light. We haven't joined their efforts. We're Republicans, or we're non-Democrats, we're conservatives, we're conservatives.
They're a little small, I figure. Years ago they used to be somewhat bigger, I believe, for heat sinking. So these are NPNs and PNPs. I bought 2 boxes. They at least have numbers on them.
Who perhaps can be brainwashed, who perhaps will support that party, and therefore outnumber the voices who are objecting to what the Democrat Party. No way the Democrats would support that. Period. Always keep that in mind. This is a party about a party. This is a party that puts the party first, like the Communist Party.
I had this thing sparking twice in my lifetime. I had it for many, many years. I don't know what I ever destroyed in it, but these are the transistors I bought to put in there. They're NPNs. I figure it was base, collector, emitter. BD-139. They didn't work, obviously. I was doing some measurements on this stuff, and the voltages are so far off, it's insane. But this has a voltage, 100 volt adjust, and a DC balance, so it Probably whips the voltages around. Horizontal positioning. Well, that's that one. That seems to make a lot of effect on the waveform here when I shift that around. Horizontal positioning. Yeah. That's crazy. It's test points here, and it really makes a difference on this waveform. But anyways, there's the 100 volts adjust and the DC balance here. -9 volts. I have to figure out what asterisks mean. I think what I'm going to have to do with this thing is quit on it. Because the reason being, what if it never worked? What if somebody built it and put resistors in the wrong spots, or, you know, I mean, I will trust the horizontal board because I got sawtooth up to here, but I might want to go through this and make sure everything's correct. I'd like to replace that. I'm pretty sure I can pull that off with my iron. My iron, I'll slip right underneath there and get at that. If not, I'll put a twist in it. That's number 14 gauge household electrical wire. Works really good for soldering. If you got to get really deep on a circuit board, you can make really long ones and just take a little file and put a score in it, and it'll get hot wherever you want it to get hot. I snipped that. I don't want to earth ground. So I think I have another oscilloscope. My first oscilloscope, it's starts with a L. Can't remember what it's called right now. I believe it's a 10 megahertz. I might start working on that one because this one here, I don't know what's wrong with it, and without scoring the proper style transistors, I'm probably never going to get anywhere. And I'd like to get some voltage checks on these, but I think when these things are turned, it's just insane. So I'll go through the heathkit book and read it like I'm building it. It'll probably tell me to put these at, you know, counterclockwise or clockwise or 12 o'clock. I put these marks on it. That one's marked too someplace. I think I have to go through it like I'm building it just to make sure all the resistors are right. It probably wouldn't hurt to check them. But I believe everything on this board is correct because that's the horizontal board. I did get a little bit of vertical when I first got it. I'd get a, you know, it'd land about here. I could adjust it with this. This is a 10K and a 10K, and they're offset to each other. And then in between, I think it's supposed to have that fine, which would be this. This would be chorus, and this would be fine, I think, vertical. I did try a couple 1K resistors at one point to try to put it at 12 o'clock. Had no luck, just to try to get a vertical, but it seems like when I turn this thing on and off, it, you know, and this sawtooth thing up there is giant compared to what I just had. So I don't know if it's my scope. I want to check this though. I'm pretty sure it's working. So if I put this in here, just to throw a signal, I think it's sine wave 1 volt peak to peak. So put it on X1. Oh, it's getting blurry. I think it came from the bottom. It goes from the bottom, zips up, and goes that way. So let me think. So if this was, see, this is supposed to be a 2K. So once you go from off one end, it just like goes to probably to 5K, 7K really quick. But I used to be able to get a dot. So I'll put it up just a bit. Oh, try it again. Okay, now I'm going to turn this all the way clockwise. Just pop it up a bit. I don't know what that tells me. These are just extensions. These original leads are brass and they're ready to break, so I put extensions on and put extensions out the board so I could throw things in. So I guess I'll leave it at this for a while. Am I on? No. There's something with that bottom one now. It has that little... Never had that before.
Manchin has said pretty publicly he doesn't want to vote to get rid of the filibuster, and you need every single Democrat right now in a 50-50 Senate to do it. So how do you get that done?
Well, Steve, I think it's going to unfold as a story, not just of the minimum wage, but also gun safety laws, rights laws, immigration laws. On and on and on. We must get rid of the filibuster.
So this is March 1st, 2021. Orange Beginner's Corner.
You're watching the unraveling here of a society. You're watching the imposition of totalitarianism.
WDSF, still